Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the June 6, 2020 edition of Pro Wrestling Throwdown. We are changing the format for This Week in Wrestling. We are going to start giving each episode their own individual video instead of trying to cram our review into two separate videos. That way we get to cover a little bit more of the show, we get to expand on some things, we get to talk about how many people Nia Jax is going to hurt in this video. So, this is This Week in Wrestling, Part 1, Monday Night Raw. Luke? Yes. What's your overall thoughts of Raw this week?
I think the word of the day is promo.
Yeah.
Bad promo.
I've got a list here. Okay. I've got all of my notes that I've taken. In a 3-hour wrestling program, ask me how many matches there were on this 3-hour wrestling program.
Gee golly, Caleb. How many matches were there?
There were 5. There were 5
3 hours.
Professional wrestling matches on a 3-hour broadcast that's full of promos, of video recaps, of packages. For shit's sake, it's awful and it's hard to get through 3 hours of nothing. Nothing of note happened. So, Drew McIntyre was there. Rollins had a wrestling. I just don't get it. So we're going to give you our breakdown of the show, and then we're going to expand a little bit. Rollins opens the show with another one of his promos that are long and drawn out.
And the sad part is, last week he had such a good promo.
He did. When he got fired up and when he was passionate, it was awesome.
And then it's like he forgot how to put in a compelling promo over the week.
It's this long, drawn out, the mystifying verbiage, and it's just nonsense. It's nonsensical. You don't need to have a gimmick that dumbs you down as a wrestler, and that's exactly what he has.
No, especially when you're playing the role of the whole Messiah gimmick.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be the all-knowing, have an answer for everything.
He is doing what Brody Lee should have been doing for the Dark Order.
Yes.
And Brody Lee is doing what Rollins should have been doing just as himself.
Agreed.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Like, switch them. Send Rollins to fucking AEW, bring Brody Lee back, and put them in each other's place. It would be perfect.
That would be an honest switch, honestly. I mean,
we get a video package about Rey Mysterio, Rollins throwing his retirement ceremony. Then we have Rollins and Black in a nice match, but it wasn't nearly as good as the tag match was last week. I don't think that it's not necessarily that it was clunky, but
it felt overly choreographed and pressed for time.
Yeah.
Something like that, you can't take two athletes like Seth Rollins and Aleister Black and tell them, we're only going to give you 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. That is a pay-per-view quality match.
Yeah.
Should be
I wouldn't have given it away on free TV.
20, 25 minutes,
yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah.
For those boys to really settle in, to really tell the story. And then the cluster with Carrillo coming in.
Yeah, at the very end of the match with the chair. I'm over, again, it's the oversaturation. You've got 3 hours. You give me a bad guy, you give me a good guy, you put them in the ring, and you let them wrestle.
Yes.
For a period of time. And after that match, you go to commercial. And then when the commercial comes back, you might do a promo, and then you take a bad guy tag team and a good guy tag team, and you let them wrestle. And then you go to a commercial break in the middle of that match.
And for the love of God, no more bowling matches or tennis matches.
Oh my, the stupid
basketball shootouts, axe throwing that they've been doing with the people who are supposed to be
Who are the Raw Team Tag Team Champions right now?
Kane.
That's a very good point.
I just looked that up, I have a facts check, and yes, Kane is the Tag Team Champion.
See,
Kane, you heard it here, folks, from the in-studio producer. Kane is, in fact, the tag team.
And I don't even care that that's grammatically incorrect. I really don't. And then, of course, Black goes over with the win.
Yeah. So Black wins with a roll-up. Garza has a weird segment with Zelina Vega.
Yep.
He gives the rose to the lady.
I have no idea who she is.
Also, Garza's we know he's engaged. We watched him win the Cruiserweight Championship
4 months ago.
And he's giving a rose to a lady. All romantically on television. We know it's a work. We know it's a work. Do something else.
It's the same thing they do with Adam Page. We know he doesn't drink.
Right. HBK weighs in on the Edge and Orton match. HBK spends a lot of time putting himself over.
It's HBK.
I just, if we had to talk about my matches.
There goes the glasses.
All the time. yeah, it's just awful. Then you got, I am excited for the Edge and Orton match. Get out of here, Barracuda. But I don't need every single legend to weigh in every single week.
No, and we knew who Michaels was going for. He wasn't going to choose Orton.
We do a recap over what happened with McIntyre and Lashley from the previous week.
Yep.
Another weird exchange between MVP and Lana, who just looks like she's unhappy to be there.
You would think as much money as they pay, as WWE pays these athletes, that she could take some acting classes.
Yeah, man, she's awful.
Like, she was better. Her acting was better when she had the fake Russian accent.
Yeah, agreed. And she shouldn't play the concerned husband. She needs to be a stone cold bitch all the time.
And for the love of God, quit using bronzer. It is horrible. You do not look good as leather.
She looks overbaked, man. Looks overbaked.
Rusev, do something.
Apollo Crews, U.S. champ, has a quick match with Kevin Owens. It breaks down into a tag match. It was all right.
That it does every week. This is something that happens every week.
Recycled, cyclical bullshit wrestling.
Monday Night Raw.
Billy Kay wrestles Nikki Cross. Billy Kay with a win. Rey Mysterio has an interview where he talks about he might retire from his eye injury. Dominic, though, closes that interview very well and asserts himself against Rollins.
It makes me want to see Dominic and Rollins.
Yeah, I completely agree.
It sells. Honestly, it sells better than Edge and Randy Orton.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah,
I want to see that more than I want to see the match they're billing as the greatest wrestling match.
I want to see Ray, take the mask off in the middle of the ring for the first time we see his face as he's leaving and give the mask to Dominic.
Agreed. That would be the best way to go.
That would be the way to send Ray home and to elevate Dominic up.
Agreed.
What else? Oh, yeah. Nia Jax hurts Kairi Sane again.
What?
That's fucking surprise, right?
This time it was... Okay, you can't take somebody's cranium. Okay? Can't take their head. And you can't throw it into the point of metal stairs and expect nothing to happen. No!
I have a demonstration, actually.
Stop it.
This is your brain.
Oh, boy.
This is your brain on drugs. This is your brain after having a match with Nia Jax.
I don't know how Kairi Sane is even still mobile. 3 weeks in a row. Are they... Okay, first off, are they too dense in the office to realize that Nia Jax is hurting people? Or has Kairi Sane done something that they just want to hurt her every week?
You remember how...
3 things.
Nia Jax came on... She had that interview where she talked about how... She didn't say Ronda's name, but she definitely was referring to Ronda. How Ronda, basically was injuring Alexa Bliss. And Nia Jax is going to kill Kairi Sane if they keep booking her in matches with her. She's going to die.
You saying that reminds me of something. Do we not, as people forgotten that Nia Jax a couple years ago was doing the anti-bully thing, and now all she's doing is bullying?
Mutilating this 100-pound Japanese girl.
Kairi Sane, 2 words. Get out.
Quit right now. We support you. Get the fuck out of there before you end up dead.
I've got a place you can stay.
That's fucking great. Charlotte wrestles Asuka. Nia attacks Asuka after probably hurt her
wearing makeup like a 3-year-old.
Lashley and MVP close out the show with McIntyre comes to a smash finish. Overall, I'm giving Raw a 2 on the bottom side. It was awful. I was bored. I'm going
to go 175. Down.
Boring. What did you think of Raw? What do you think about Nia Jax being a human train wreck? Do you think we're wrong? Is she really? Does she work safer than we think?
Should Kairi Sane give me a chance?
Kairi Sane? You think Kairi Sane give Luke a chance? You need to let us know. There's 1 of 3 ways of doing that. Hit us up on Facebook at facebook.com/ProWrestlingThrowdown. Send us an email at ProWrestlingThrowdown@gmail.com or leave us a comment below. We'll refer to all of your emails and your comments next week. Stay tuned for this week, part 2, SmackDown.